Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to this. Whenever I start one of these, it doesn't work as well. These. Whenever I start into one of this, I think back fondly to a gentleman in the comments that said, hold on. If you hear a lot of grunting and slapping, the mosquito infestation is unbelievable. They appear to portal in out of an alternative dimension or another part of reality because they're just there. And nothing stops them except slapping them to death. So, whenever I begin one of these, which is this, I am immediately tickled by a comment where somebody said, I could do without all the servo reviews. And at that point, I went back and I looked up the content, and I think there'd been 7 episodes that are servo reviews. There'd be multiple servos in each episode generally. I try to keep it to 1 now. It's a little more brief. As of this recording, as I'm in here slapping mosquitoes right now, the channel has 740 videos. So 7 out of 740. So that is less than 1%. It's like in that 0.85, 0.9% range. So if you don't like servo reviews, I don't know why you would click on this. The thumbnail should say servo review. We are going to get the machine set up. I will do that momentarily. But before we do that, sent in once again by Canyon channel member from Romania. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Nope. Lost him. Hold on. We're going to try something a little, what I would consider to be a little special. You know my fondness, not as much of the Amazon Red case, but definitely of the Amazon Blue case. Both of those servos are I don't know if they're produced by or they are just sold all under the badge of DS Power. But we've got what is certainly the fanciest DS Power, though I will admit, it does look like it says QS Power, right? It's not just me. One Stop Servo Solutions, R&D and leading manufacturer of servos. So, and it still looks like a Q. This is, look at this. This isn't your ordinary Amazon Blue case. This is the DS Power DSB009C. We got the all metal on there. It is not direct powered. It is receiver powered. So we are going to be quite concerned with those amp numbers. And funnily enough, in this era of when things say things, that looks too small. Let's reframe. In this era when things say things, the DS009C, which is too much to say, does not pump up the jams. It is claiming, it lists manufacturer speeds and torque ratings at 2 voltages, 6 volts and 7.4, which is good for all of us because I think most of us are in there. Would I have liked to see an 8.4 volt option? Yeah. Do I think you could probably run it on 8.4? Also, yeah. People have done some quite abusive things to the Amazon Blue cases and they hold up just fine. So, rating at 6 volts is 28 kg, aka for us in the Freedom units, 389 ounces, 0.14 second transit speed, which is not blisteringly fast, but I think it's plenty fast enough for a rock crawler. And then the rating at 7.4 volts is a number that we have heard before, mentioned in other contexts. 32 kg, it's a pretty common number because that is 444 ounces. You might be able to think of a servo that is like it's in its name, that it makes 444 ounces. There's we have tested a number of servos at that 32 kg spot. 444 ounces is kind of what I accept to be about the minimum. And you'd say, well, that's odd, 32 kg, and you have plenty of rigs running 30 kg blue case. Yeah, because the 30 kg blue case don't make anywhere near that. Most of the cheap, like $27 to $29 ones from Animos or whatever Amazon vendor, are in that 625 ounce range. So we hope for good things from the this DS power. I refuse to say DSB009C. It's too much to say. So we were going to slap it into the rig. The rig will miraculously appear right here. We're going to do our usual 3 pulls at 6 volts, 3 pulls at 7.4 volts. We'll average it up. We'll see if it made the numbers. We'll take a look at the amps. We'll look at the ounces per dollar, which is an important one, which means I've got to look it up on AliExpress. I take that back. The editor has to look this up on AliExpress and find out how much it costs. As I said, it came to me from Romania via AliExpress, so I don't even know how much they cost. Let's find out. Instead, first, we'll find out how much it costs later. Right now, we'll find out how it do. We fire it up here at 6 volts. It will not stick. It's because the draw from the board, that 0.02 amps and that 0.1 of a watt, it kind of... We're not talking about the most expensive... What is it that regulates? Voltage regulators? I don't know whose voltage regulator is to blame, but one of them is not holding tight, as tight as could be held tight. I don't think that for our purposes, it matters not a whit, as we are pulling on a luggage scale / fish scale, and we're here to find stall torque. And in our quest to find stall torque, one of 2 things are going to happen for each servo involved. The one thing that could happen is it will make its torque, and the other thing will happen is it won't. It's fairly simple. Get plugged into the board here. Ooh. Okay. All right. Guys. It's too early to prognosticate. Do you recall me saying a couple short minutes ago, I said, ooh, look, what am I doing down here? It's a mystery. I said they're claiming 0.14. That's 6 volts. I'll withhold until we see here. I guess. Sounds unusually smooth. All right, we got this is an important test. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. Look at the numbers. Not a peep. We want that servo under that condition to be dead silent. We don't want to hear, and I want to hear no noise. And this fella was dead silent. Make sure everything's tight here. Yeah, and there's not even any slack. A lot of times there'll be a little bit of I guess what I'd call gear train slack. Doesn't even have that. For those who are here for your first servo test, hey, thanks for stopping by. For those of you who are not, where did this screw come from? That's way too long. We have a servo horn. You can see it mostly down here at the bottom. It is very large and very beefy and double clamping, and it clamps with big screws because this will provide all the amps that a servo can claim, and we've just blown some servo horns to smithereens. So here we go. 009. 009. Why am I not just calling it the 009? The DSB 009C. It is not direct power. We're looking for this number, 389, 6 volts, first pull. We hit it with the little jobby here, and we see where we end up. First pull at 6 volts. Yes, as is the case with most Amazon AE gear, the Rockford Fosgate principle, that first pull was 466.7. So do we think it's going to make the 7.4 volt numbers? Yeah. I don't care who you are or what you do. 467 ounces at 6 volts. That's pretty good. I am going to now make an effort to watch the amps. Peak amps in the frame rate I shoot at. Peak amps sometimes don't even show up for a full frame. I try to pick the highest number that comes across that amp display because I want to see peak amps. Your stall amps, like the amps you're routinely going to see, are not going to be in that peak amp range. But I want to see the number that the servo is not going to draw above. Second pull at 6 amps, of 6 volts, my apologies. I will make an attempt to watch the A this time. Well, that held... I didn't read the last two numbers, but that thing was holding 6.2 amps for a while. Like a good while. And servos will tend to step up in power a little bit. 488.7 on that second pull as the servo warms in. Until you start to get hot, then it's a bell curve. It's going to go up and then it's going to drop off. So enough rambling. Third pull at 6 volts so that I can do some math. I'm going to watch the amps again to see if we're in that 6.2 range again. Well, you know what would help? Tear it. So this is actually a bonus pull. And that one was each pull's going down a little. And I mean down in amps. I only saw 5.9 on that one. On the pull where we forgot to tear, I saw 6.1. So he kind of got a freebie. 497.0. And the amps again. The editor will have the numbers, and the numbers will be fit and legit over there on the side because he has the opportunity to go frame by frame. And now we'll bring out the buddy Osalo. I trust my math, but I don't trust it that much. Across the 3 pulls at 6 volts, we had an average, and I got halfway through a thought before. This horn is super beefy, and it's on there because it's super beefy, and it does not have a hole at 25.4 millimeters at 1 inch. And generally what we're trying to do is find ounces generated at 1 inch from the center point. We can't do that. This one has a hole at 24 millimeters, which is what 99% of servos have. If you buy a typical servo horn, it's going to have a hole at either 20 or 24. As you fall down the horn, you're an inch up here, then you're 24 here, and then you're like 20, and then what's our next step, 18 or 16? As you go closer to the center point, the torque increases linearly. So measuring this at 24 millimeters instead of 25.4 millimeters, we multiply by a correction factor of 0.925. So I will be giving you 2 numbers. The first number is the uncorrected number, which is more like your real world number. 484 ounces was the average. That corrects to 448 with the 92.5% correction factor. Those are respectively 35 and 32 kilogram. So this guy is he's a dead on 35 kg servo at 6 volts, which is really good. He's cold as ice. Didn't sacrifice my love. I have no issues with this. The amp draw, maybe a little high, but not really. Like, you'd still be okay on an internal BEC on that. Though, I don't know why you would run it at 6. If your BEC has the opportunity to run 7.4, just run it at 7. Unless we see like a huge amp jump here. We could see an amp jump of 25%. If we see an amp jump of 25%, that puts this guy, go back and watch an old one of the DS3225 Pro, the Pro Case Blue Amazon Servo, which it still has the old case that says 35 kg, but it's actually a 40 kg servo. The problem is you are going to need an external BEC with that servo because it can get into the low 8s in amps, and your internal BEC will not be tremendously fond of that. That's too many of the amps. A little too hot. Oh, we almost forgot an all too important step, which is DS claims 0.14 seconds at 6 volts and 0.12 seconds at 7.4. It looks exactly the same to me. I mean, I do claim some things, but I do not claim the ability to tell the difference in transit time between 0.14 seconds and 0.12 seconds. If it was a bigger jump, maybe. And thumb test. Can you hear it? You probably can't hear it. I can make the tiniest bit of what I just call pot noise. I don't know what's actually making that noise, but I can generate a little, the faintest. And our idle amps basically didn't move at all. In fact, they went maybe down a little. They might have dropped a little bit. We can't hope for that much. We can reach for the stars, but they're really far away. So 009, first pull, 7.4 volts. Much like its cousins on Amazon, AliExpress is just the cousin to Amazon. It's a little less expensive. It's a little farther away. You got to wait a little longer. You have a cousin from out of town. 586.2. We can fill this in right now. Hit manufacturer target. Yes. Like nothing could happen. Nothing could happen to make this drop 140 ounces between pulls. Did not look at the amps even once. I was busy looking over here. So on the next ones, we'll see. What did I say? Right around 6. If we were going to draw a gross average for the pulls at 6 volts, I'd say about 6 amps. 7.4 second pull. Yeah, y'all saw it. 7.9. But that 7.5 is getting you 605.3 ounces of torque, which is a lot. Very, very much in line with the Amazon Blue Case. One might go so far as to speculate that I think this might be. What's inside this shininess might be what's inside an Amazon Blue Case. These numbers are looking very close, but I don't know if it's on this board. Animos Pro. No, that thing, yeah. Whoa, it's really close. We did not, I found the sheet back here. Look at all this scribbles. We did not test the Animos Pro at 6 volts, but there were the amps taken from the screen caps. That's really close. 559, 621, 669. So far we've got 586 and 605. This might just be a DS Pro. This might be a DS Pro. I've yet to experience 2 servos be this close before. So we'll do the final pull at 7.4, and then just for fun, we're going to hit it with 8.4 just to see what happens. Yeah, I defo saw that 7.9 again. That's an am-hungry beast. 587.4, which is almost dead. 586.2 on the first pull. Whoa. 3-pull average at 7.4 volts. Uncorrected 593 ounces. Corrected 549. That is 42.7 and 39.5 kg respectively. That's beating the manufacturer spec by a good quite a lot of bit. But these are, what did I say? Is it the 3225 SG? I just call it the Pro. Yeah, and DS3225. Oh, it's actually called the 3225 Pro. I want to pull it at 8.4 just to see if the numbers are close. The Animos Pro was selling for a while there at about $30 on Amazon, 30 to 35 bucks. So it was doing 19 ounces per dollar, which is ridiculous. Anything in double digits is getting impressive. High torque guys like 1,000-ounce servos tend to be in the like 6 to 7 ounces per dollar because they're all in that like $150, $160, $170 range. So when you're talking a $30 or $40 servo, there's something you've got to sacrifice. There are different pools you draw from. Are we giving up speed to get that torque? We're giving up a little speed. It's still, it's brisk enough. But what we're giving up is amps. This thing is sucking amps. So I want to see it at 8.4 for my own edification, just to see. I don't think an extra volt is going to blow it up. And I want to see, can those amps go up? This thing can provide 30. We've never seen it move the decimal point over. I don't want to see it move the decimal point. Come on, we all kind of want to see it move the decimal point over a little bit. We're going to pull this, the 009 at 8.4 volts, even though the spec sheet says 6.0 and 7.0. The Pro, I'm running my Pro at 8.4 volts. So, here we go. Gear Train, don't fail me now. I saw it. It was well over 700 at the first pull. Like I think I saw 730, 735. It settled at 685.6. We might as well just do 3 pulls at 8.4. Why not? We're here. We're here. Not quite. I would say about 1 degree hotter than skin temperature. Skin temperature generally about 85 degrees. So I'm going to put the servo at about 86. We'll see if the fingermometers are accurate. No, not quite. About 92. 92. So, wait. So what are my fingers? Oh, yeah, 91. Hey! One wrist. We brought that back. I said it was about 1 degree, and it was. Just my hands are hotter than I thought they would be. So, well, let's bust through. I'm gonna watch right here on the amps. Oh, no. No. Maybe the camera could have caught if it crossed 9. I saw 898 for a flicker there of a frame. 699.6. Did we introduce heat? No. Still exactly the same. So let's get a final pull in here, and then we can do some math and tell you why you should or shouldn't buy one of these. Final pull. I only saw 8.7 that time. I was watching the amps. 703.8. So it just kept going up. So we finish up that unofficial. Now, I'm not condoning anyone grab their 009 and take it and run it on 8.4. Unless it turns out to be wildly inexpensive. Searching for things on AliExpress is remarkably difficult, so I haven't been able to find it yet. I had to look it up on the DS Power website to find the numbers for it. Averaged 696 uncorrected, which is pretty much 50.144 kg. So if this thing is making 50 kg, that's pretty good. Corrects to 549, 30. Oh, I'm sorry. Corrects to 644. I was looking at the wrong line. Corrects to 644, 46.4. Whether it's 50 or 46 kilo, that is strong. That is not to be discounted. That amp draw, though, I will have to look through the servo test leaderboard. I'm thinking that might be the biggest amp draw we've seen, because I think the Pro, it is. The Pro was kind of the king amp hungry monster, and he was averaging like 8.2, 8.3 at his 8.4 volt pulls in amps, and this guy was almost 9, and in frame by frame we might have hit 9. So that is thirsty. That's not just thirsty, that's thirsty to the point where you're gonna want a BEC with some headroom. This is kind of where the strength of AliExpress lies, as if this servo is in a price range that I'm hoping, like say $60, then you can pick up a BEC for it for $10, $15. I still think it's trying to play in the realm of direct power servos. I know that there is perhaps small contingent of people that prefer receiver-powered servos to direct power servos because, yes, direct power servos do fall off in torque as the battery voltage goes down, but they don't fall down a huge amount. Like, they'll fall 10%, and in general, they're making way more torque than we need to begin with. So the DSB 009C definitely kills the numbers that the manufacturers say it's going to make. I think it could live on 8.4. I'm not recommending that anyone do that because, like, I mean, you can try it, but, like, expect longevity to take a hit. And I would say don't even consider it, but the torque progression from 6 volts to 8.4 volts was so linear. It just kept going up. We went, I mean, let the pictures do the talking, if you can read my writing. 484, 593, 696. Every time we fed it the next voltage level, it went up 100 ounces. So it just kept rising linearly. It will have to be in an on-screen thing to tell you what the ounces per US dollar are. Like I said, before I came out here to do this, before I came out here to film this, I looked around AliExpress desperately trying to find this servo. If you just search for DSB009-C, it just takes you to the DS Power website. I couldn't find it on AliExpress. I'll find it, and that number will probably be over on this side column somewhere over here. There's usually a side column up over there. It might just splash on the screen here. We don't know. The editor is a madman. We will see where he ends up. So I can't give you a recommendation for this servo. The servo appears solid. It's well built. It doesn't make any noise. But once you get into that, if you're routinely drawing over 6 amps, that's too much. And nowadays, for the cost of buying a servo and a BEC, because you'd need like a 12 amp BEC at least, 12 to a 14 amp BEC, a 10 amp I don't think is going to be enough. It's not going to have enough headroom because we could get close to that 10 peak stall. So once you add the cost of those two things together, you can buy a beefy manhandler of a direct power servo. You know, the DS500 exists, Flash Hobby MH60s exist, even a GFRC SA75 CVSW V2. There's a mouthful. These are also, that's the AGFRC is the most expensive one at $85. So the cost of this on AliExpress when I find it is really, really going to determine. I am going to make a mission. By the time this is up, in the description will be, and they're not affiliates, but in the description, if I can find this and an appropriate BEC that will keep this, say, under $75 total, I would prefer to see it at 60. 65. We'll compromise. If we can find this servo and an external BEC for $65 or less, I will give this a recommended. Run it at 7.4 volts off of that BEC, and I think you've got something. But if you're going above that $65 mark, you could get an RS500 to run on 4S. You could get an MH60 to run from Flash Hobby to run on 3S and get roughly equivalent numbers, but not have any extra gubbins. Just direct power, bish bosh, Bob's your uncle, and we're out the door. It does come packaged very nicely. I do like who doesn't love a tin? So there you have it. Another servo review. It was a long one. I like this servo, and it's a damn shame that it pulled 9 amps at the peak because that's too many of the amps. There you go, everybody. Thanks for dropping by the canyon. Thanks for checking out another servo review. If that's the kind of thing you're into, I invite you to comment below if you have any experience with the 009, or if you have any other servo that you might be interested in. No, I still haven't tested any 9i mods except for the 60 kg direct power because their receiver powered ones are too expensive. You're talking AGFRC money, and I'll just buy AGFRC. So, like, subscribe, all that usual stuff. We will see you in the next one. And as we close, in between now and when we meet again, please, one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again very soon, and maybe it'll be outside. I think I have like a 50-50 chance with the mosquitoes when I'm outside, and in here they've just got me outnumbered. So, we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for coming by.